boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys. All right, we are here. Welcome in Crunch Time Sports, February 21st. Hey, it's Friday. Hey, we got to get some music playing here. Hold on. Let's get some music playing here.
DJ Boone.
DJ. Hey, it's DJ Boone. No, hey, welcome in, though. Crunch Time Sports. Friday, we are off and rolling again. Jeff Iafrate still out in Las Vegas with his significant other, having a good time. The fellas are going to hold it down here today. Booner and Lukas Klotz. We've got Klotz, we got a pack show. I was looking at it right here. We got NFL cut candidates, Brad Holmes free agency, the NFC, not the NFC North, but the NFC in general with the Eagles. And then today at 9:15, Crunch Time Sports mock draft 1.0.
1.0, and we talked it through.
round.
There will be trades. There'll be one trade per person, but it's going to get a little interesting. So I can't wait, Boone. I've been thinking about. I've been excited all day for it.
Yeah, I've already stated too. I think I'm going to be a lot in GM where you're not going to get many trades out of me. I want my guy. The only time I'm trading is if I really want my guy at a certain position. But I'm pumped up. Mock draft. It's like mock draft Friday, full NFL first round. We haven't done one yet. We are fighting tonight. I would say this. We're fighting against the Pistons. They're playing tonight. This is where it gets a little tough to where the Pistons are actually good
now.
So the Pistons are playing tonight. And then at the same time, it's Michigan versus Michigan State right now, I think at 8 o'clock as well. So 8 o'clock start times for Pistons and Michigan State. So if you are tuned in, we appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the fellas if you want to become a member. To be honest, I know Jeff usually puts like the pins the tweet or pins the thing. There's got to be a link somewhere on YouTube to do it. I'm not putting it up there, so you go figure it out. I'm just kidding. I love you if you do do that though. Do you even know where to do it, Klotz? Honestly, I don't.
You probably just do it. We gotta just do it on like actual YouTube in a different tab. I'd imagine. Boone.
No, not to pin it, but the link for it. It's got to be somewhere. It's got to be somewhere around here.
No, I'm not too quite sure on that.
Yeah, me either. I am a member though. I will say I'm a fine member of the Crunch Time Sports community.
Contributes.
I am. I by the way too, for this NFL mock draft class, I have a whole cheat sheet. Like I locked in today. And since it's our first one, like it helps me kind of get ready for the draft, getting to know different players, especially early the first day one players, and we're going to the combine. So I'm happy we're doing it today since we're leaving next week for the combine.
Till some trades start popping through, Boone.
Oh,
Caleb get on the phones. Did Unk ever confirm? Do we know?
He will not be here. Nope.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's just the three of us. So I gave you guys your picks. Klotz, you're picking third, so you're getting like third, 6, 9, 12. You know, you have those picks. So, yeah, I'm interested. It should be a fun time now. It should be good. Let's hey, can we just start off the bat here, Klotzy?
Yeah.
Last night, USA Canada.
Tough.
That was brutal.
At least it was everybody wanted the overtime, and we got what we wanted. But unfortunately, Canada went into Boston, won the championship. Yeah. It sucks because the U.S. they beat them. It's 1-1 in the series when it comes to the four, but they won in the championship. Man, it was tough. But at the end of the day, like we talked about, like that's Canada's sport. Okay, if Canada should be good at anything, it should be fucking hockey. And Unc was talking about, they got fucking Connor McDavid, best player in hockey on their team. They're probably the better team, and they should be winning.
For sure.
United States, still at everything else, number one. Canada, cute story, cute run, 51st state loading.
I'm going to be honest, too. Like, Canada should feel, even though they won, they should feel terrible about themselves. The fact that, like, we're now caught up to them when it comes to hockey. Like, it's like, hey, we're right here. Like, we didn't even have all of our best players playing. Like, we're missing a bunch of, like, the U.S. is missing a bunch of players. There's players that didn't end up playing. Like, there's just all these different things to it. And it was like Canada had all their best guys playing. And the fact that we went to the championship game, already beat them once too, and then go to the championship game and lose an OT. Like, it takes OT to beat us. You guys are supposed to be the premier hockey country of the world, and we're taking you to OT after beating you a couple days ago in Canada. Like, come on, man.
Our best athletes aren't even on the ice.
No, the future is bright for United States hockey. The future is very bright.
Can't wait.
I'm pumped up about it. I want to.
Did you hear everybody like pressing like the NBA too about because like everybody like even like me and you both had to like, oh shit, like this is what they're doing instead of the All-Star.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
the pressure's on. They were talking about it on ESPN like the first time U.S. and Canada matched up when the U.S. won brought in 10.4 million, and the All-Star game brought in like 4.7, I want to say. So it already doubled it, and they didn't get the ratings from last night's game. So if you're the NBA and you're looking at the NHL. And you're looking at, think about globally, like how
that was one of the biggest things of all time.
Now, especially you got Luka, you got Victor Wembanyama, you got Jokic. Like the game is to turn global.
Yeah.
And the NHL in 1 year, just like, oh yeah, we'll do this, and just doubled the views. Like Adam Silver, those boys got to get it figured out because the All-Star
quick. They need to quick as well.
Like even as like when I was in high school and stuff, like I was geeked to watch All-Star Weekend, like the dunk contest, 3-point contest. The All-Star game, maybe not so much, but just that weekend was always such a good time for basketball. And now it's just
that weekend. I look forward to the Saturday, even the Sunday game after Saturday night was over with the dunk contest. I can't wait till tomorrow for the All-Star, like with Kobe in it, Pau Gasol, like those guys. It was like, this is thrilling. But it might never be back to that, to be honest. It quite literally may never.
It would have to take like the players to be like, okay, let's take this seriously. And I don't think there's any time that's going to change. Like it'd have to be like Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, and like Ant would have to be like, all right, let's take this shit serious.
Yeah, they would have to. I think some of the guys will. I just think some of these older guys are like KD and all them. They're
over it.
It's that. All right, Klotz, let's get into our first thing here. All right. I have something to bring to the table. I have a couple things tonight to bring to the table for you, Klotzy. I wanted to get your opinion on some things, the people's opinions, and we have some good segments here. Some Detroit Lions stuff, some NFL stuff. The first one here. I don't know if you saw this too, and I want to bring this up for the people. This might, to some people, just be like, oh, whatever, Booner, it's not that big of a deal. But to me, this kind of shows the potential of what can happen very quick in the NFL, Klotz.
You sound negative when you say this.
No, it is kind of negative. I wouldn't say blindsided, but I think as Lions fans right now, Klotz, I think we're all in this like go happy world, and I'm a part of it with the Booner Path 100%. But again, if you're on that side of it, it's like if you're running a business and something's going really well, hey, you have to be prepared if bad hits, right? Like you always have to have like your head on a swivel if something happens. And I saw this today, and it happened yesterday actually, and we just didn't talk about it because of the watch party we did. Zach Martin now decided to retire after 11 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. Had a meeting with Jerry Jones Klotzy Thursday and informed them he's done. 9-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro. And I think you know where I'm going to go with this. Yeah. But this right here, people. Like I get into these conversations with a lot of people, Klotzy, where they're like, why are you thinking negative about this? Why are you like this? Why do you have this mindset? I think there is a perspective in the NFL, Klotz, where it's like guys aren't going to be in this league forever. And like even like the best players aren't going to be here forever. And when I see a guy like Zach Martin, you know what it makes me think of right away? Frank Ragnow. It makes me think of Graham Glasgow, Kevin Zeitler, Taylor Decker. And Ryan said Martin is 35. Stop. I don't care about the age. That's not the point. It has nothing. I'm not saying, Ryan, and this is where people, I'm not saying like you, Ryan, you're a great, you listen to us. Yeah, love you. But I'm just saying there's people in this world who like completely want to just put out the negative, or not the negatives, but like the reality of some situations that, hey, at some point, Frank's going to retire. Taylor's going to be gone. Graham's going to be gone. Kevin's going to be gone. And you have to replace those guys. And it might not be like, hey, next year or 2, but it's going to happen very, very soon, Klotz. And I think there's a lot of Lions fans who are scared and not even just scared, but they don't want to think about that next step of Lions football. But to me, what really like hit my heart on this one a little bit was they built this team through the trenches.
Yeah.
And as soon as the trenches start to fall apart, that's when you start to get a little bit in a bad situation with the Detroit Lions. I know we have these conversations, and this is where people love it, about the Amon-Ra getting re-signed. Sam Laporta's, what are their contracts? Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Kirby, Jared, like all these skill players, these big-time players. Not a lot of conversations about the offensive line. Seeing the Zach Martin thing, I know he's 35. I hate to say this, but like I know you need an edge. Would I be mad in the first 2 rounds if they go out and get an offensive lineman? No. Looking at a Zach Martin leaving, thinking about the future of this O-line, Christian Mahogany's there, wasted pick potentially on Manu, wasted pick on Colby Sorsdale. At some point, this offensive line has to start getting rebuilt. It took me until today, Klotzy, when I saw that tweet, to really hit that realization, like they have to have a quick backup plan because this could turn in one off season very quick.
I agree with you because I think when you look at games like the Buffalo Bills last year and you look at what that offensive line did when they struggled against that pass rush, that's when you really got to start looking at it because Frank Ragnow, drafted in 2018, Taylor Decker, drafted in 2016. When you look at these guys, like they were in the Quinn Trisha era. Like we can mock that era all we want. Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, those were good draft picks. Graham Glasgow was here during that era, left to Denver, came back. So these guys are definitely on the tail end of their career. And when you have Jared Goff as your quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs is your running back, and you look at the defensive lines in the NFC, it is so important to keep the offensive line the strength of this team because if this offensive line drops from top 1 to top 8, I think that impact could be felt a lot more than people expect. So I'll say this. First round, you draft an edge. You draft an edge. Round 2, I wouldn't be too upset at all because if you can get an edge in free agency, offensive tackles right now, there's not many in free agency that you're going to be able to go get, especially it's going to be a weird fit with Taylor Decker. So I would imagine that they have to go in the draft with now.
That's where
it's like, okay. It's tough because do you go center? Do you go guard? Do you go tackle?
That's my thing. But the thing with that, like even that point before Klotz is like, for me, you can the next couple of years get a free agent for offensive line, like you did with Zeitler, right? But like if you're really trying to look for dudes to fill out, like Frank said, he's top 3 center in the NFL year in and year out. Some years he's 1, some years he's 2, some years he's 3, but he's like rotating through the top 3. You have to go find a dude. Like I just don't think you can go in free agency and be like, hey, we're gonna go pay someone, because if you look at this team, like the way it's built, like it's through the trenches. But you're going to, again, we have these conversations about paying all these other guys on the team, right? Like all these other guys are about to get extensions. You're not going to have the availability of money to be able to go out there and pay for these top tier offensive linemen to come join Penei Sewell in the next 4 or 5 years. Like it's impossible. So you have to find guys in the draft. And like, listen, I'm going to keep doing mock drafts, and majority of the time, I'm going to draft an edge rusher. Like that's what I'm going to do with the Detroit Lions. But if there are certain guys who fall in the draft and there are certain guys who are sitting there, at 28 who end up somehow, some way dropping to you, am I going to be mad if Brad Holmes says, hey, let's go get an offensive lineman of the future here in the first round? No. Well, not when was like I'm trying to think of when some offensive linemen are drafted in the back end of the draft, because I think like value wise, I know typically some of these great offensive linemen are in the top 10. Yeah, but you find great guards and centers in the end of the first round. It happens every year, like some dudes. And I think Brad, like, when you look at him, he goes BPA. If there's a guard center, the kid I saw someone, I think it's the kid, the mullet kid from, is it North or South Dakota? Like if he drops, probably have to get him because he is just that good. Like there are just certain guys, some of these Ohio State linemen, Klotz, like they're just that good that you like, if they're there and you need an edge, you have to take the offensive lineman. And at that point, you re-sign Za'Darius, and in the second round, you get an edge. Like that's how I look at it. And then today I had that realization. It was like, you need your offensive line in the future because, and I know you're going to hate this, and I'm not saying at all that Jahmyr is only good because of the offensive line, but think how good that offensive line also makes him. Like, look at Saquon. Saquon was so good in New York, but look what he just did this year with the best offensive line in the NFL. It's like it's a night and day difference. Jared Goff, like I think that's the number one player. I love Jared Goff. I think he's an incredible quarterback. What is Jared Goff going to be if that offensive line retires and falls apart a little bit? Probably not at that top tier because he knows it. Dan knows it. Brad knows it. he needs everything around him. And that's not I'm one of the biggest Jared Goff fans. I get called the golf gobbler all the time. But like he needs an offensive line. He needs weapons. And if like I that hit me this morning when I saw this tweet, and I think I put it in the prep, and I was like, we have to talk about offensive line in the draft, because I was thinking about like, hey, who am I going to be looking for in the combine this week, Klotz, and this and that. Never offensive line just hasn't crossed my mind until today, and I'm like, I have to start looking at offensive linemen. Like that has to be real. I think today, and I'll probably be the first one to say it because I haven't seen many people say it. Offensive line has to be one of the priorities along with edge in the first round. Like if at that point you take BPA of either position, whoever's the best available at that position. It's no longer just no matter what edge at 28. I still think it's hashtag edge to the D. That could be Myles Garret, but there still has to be like, hey, dude, you have to go out there and get that guy, Coach Walker. Yeah, you have to go out there and get an O-lineman, though. It's
what
so
you're
important.
saying is absolutely true, because you even think back to the time when Goff was in LA, who was like, especially because it was like, this is the last chance the Rams have because it's his last year, Andrew Whitworth, because the Rams had a really shaky offensive line. Whitworth was in Cincinnati, all-pro type of guy, goes to LA, and now Goff, he was all right before, obviously struggled his rookie year. McVay comes, that's going to turn any quarterback around. So Goff was playing solid, but they get Whitworth, and that transforms everything. Yep. You look to now in Detroit, Goff isn't as mobile naturally, just with age that's going to come. It's not like he's old, but he's not 24, 25 years old anymore. But this whole offense, especially through the air, is built on the run game, the play action. Like that takes, especially with Jared Goff, more time than most quarterbacks for him to get set up in the pocket, drop back, and then he has to have a clean pocket because he's not running anywhere. Those deep balls to J-Mo, Jared Goff needs time, and you have to take that run game seriously. So if that play action is not a consistent threat, teams are going to start laying back in coverage. They're going to start sending more. Like they're going to be able to pick apart this offense a lot easier, because not only like even Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, they're still playing. Their play's going to start declining, and they're not going to be able to move like they used to. So getting young legs in there, learning while they can behind the opportunity of Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow, who are Pro Bowl, Frank Ragnow, all pro type of guys. It's extremely important. But again, it's going to be weird because I feel like Taylor Decker, he just got signed to a 3-year, $60 million contract.
Graham signed, I think, a 3-year deal.
Yeah, and like Frank, he's last year in his contract, I believe, is this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's either this year or next year. But Frank's
I can check
end of his contract. And I would imagine that Hank Fraley eventually is going to be leaving the Detroit Lions. So Frank Ragnow, I'm looking at this as his last year. And same thing.
Frank has 2 more.
So he's got 2 more. So, okay, maybe Frank figures out his contract. The Lions win a bowl. There's no reason for him to come back. But it's gonna be an awkward situation with Taylor Decker hanging out. I almost feel like you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Maybe not this year, but with Taylor Decker, like release him, trade. There's got to be some type of movement there, because at some point he's just going to be too old. And you saw Patrick Mahomes this year. Like he could not. Like the best quarterback, arguably, that will retire with Tom Brady, is one of the best 2 quarterbacks of all time. And he's not winning Super Bowls because he doesn't have an offensive line. Jared Goff's going to need the same thing. When they saw that, the Chiefs last time in the Super Bowl against the Bucs, what they do? They traded with the Ravens, another powerhouse in the AFC, to give them Orlando Brown. Now, Orlando Brown didn't end up being the Orlando Brown he was in Baltimore.
Different, yeah.
But he was that first year there, he made a huge impact, and they won the Super Bowl the next
But
year.
The thing with that, Klotz, so even then, like for me, it's more so like getting ahead of it before it falls apart. And I've been the Taylor Decker supporter all year, saying, hey, it's just hurt this year. He was going through it. And maybe that's the case. Maybe this was just one bad, because the couple last years before that, he was good. And this kind of just seemed like the one bad year on his career, where it wasn't even that bad, but it was still, you could see the struggles. So maybe it was just like a one-off, and next year he's going to be fine and healthy again. But I just think it's just a thing as a franchise, especially when you're in a Super Bowl window over the next 3 or 4 years, and you have the quarterback that needs that, and you have running backs as elite as they are that can succeed at a high level with an offensive line. It's better to figure it out before you were like, oh no, we just lost it again in the playoffs because our offensive line couldn't hold up, or they're getting older, or that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's better to have that backup plan. Like Christian Mahogany last year, them getting him in the 6th round, and now that they know he can start, like he played in 2 or 3 games this year, and he started, and he was good. Like it wasn't like he was bad. He was very good for them. Good thing Jeff isn't here to me saying very good in the draft or in the game. He's like, you said very good.
No, I mean, he was, though, especially I believe it was against Chicago. Like he was making.
Dude, remember after the game, people were like, this guy is going to be a starter. So you find it.
If you can consistently, if he plays like that consistently, that's your right side of the offensive line for the future with him and Panay.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to move Panay over, but in the 6th
you just
round,
have to find some more guys back there. Like, I think, you know what's crazy too, Klotz, is I think Brad has been trying it. Like, obviously getting Mahogany, he's very well aware of it. Then, but the Manu pick, I think he's like very aware. Oh, we need another tackle. Like, we need to get someone just in case. Yeah. And then I think the year before with Colby Sorsdale, he's like, hey, we need to figure. So, like, I think Brad is very aware of keeping this offensive line like intact just in case.
Yeah.
He just hasn't really used a pick besides Penei Sewell in the early rounds. So maybe I think, like, I just would not be shocked. I'm going to start preparing myself for. It's not like what is it? One of my friends in college, he was from Australia. He would always just say, "Nothing sexy but the grind, baby." We'd be at the gym, shooting, getting shots up at 5:30 in the morning, and you would walk in, "Hey, nothing sexy but the grind, boys."
But that's offensive line.
That's what it is. It's like, it's not a pick where we're all like, yes, but it's like, okay, it's part of the game.
It's needed. It's needed.
For Lions fans, should be like, yes, because you're building that thing up again. Like, that's like with the heart of our team. So, anything else on that, Klotz, on the offensive line stuff?
No, I thought we nailed it. I mean, I think we started talking about the other day with the whole Taylor Decker thing, but it goes to the extent of the whole offensive line outside of Penei Sewell. Like, even Christian Mahogany, like, we all expect from what we saw for him to be good. But again, we saw James Houston look very good for one season his rookie year because people really didn't know what they were going to get and kind of fell off the face of the earth. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the exact case with Christian Mahogany, but he's a 6th-round pick, and we can't expect him to go out there and look like a Pro Bowl next year if needed to be consistently. He's going to have some growing pains. But again, he's no sure thing either. We got to hope that he can play like he did last year, because if you can hit on that, huge for the future. But if not, now you're talking about replacing 4 offensive linemen instead of 3.
Is there anyone in the combine, or I'm not going to say anyone because we're going to be there next week. We're going to be having content from Indy next week for all 4 days. Thursday, I know Brad and them are there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. We're not going to get in until Thursday morning. We'll probably get there like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Thursday morning, and we'll be there all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you guys can message us if there's certain guys you guys want to know about or see, or anything you guys want to know. You guys can shoot us a message on any of our socials. Klotz, is there any position groups that you're like looking for specifically for the Lions? Mine is just O-line and defensive line. Is there anything else that you're looking for?
Outside of those two, I love watching wide receivers, but we talk about at some point you'd expect this team to take a wide receiver. Guys like Jack Beck, who are getting a lot of attention. I think those type of guys, the ex-wide outs, Tim Patrick rumored that he could potentially be leaving. That's another thing that Lions fans got to think about. If Tim Patrick decides to go to the Jets or another team that offer him more of a financial like settlement, like, you can't be mad if the Tennessee Titans, like, I'm just throwing them out as an example, rebuilding team, are like, hey, Tim Patrick, 3 years, $30 million, come be our wide receiver too, like Doc was talking about. You can't be mad at that. But now the Lions in the draft, they're definitely most likely going to be in the top 4 rounds taking a wide receiver that fit that Tim Patrick mold. You're not going to get a Tez Johnson out of Oregon, but because like you need a guy on the outside. The whole thing with Donovan Peoples-Jones that we talked about, Boone, was it's not that we needed DPJ to work so he could be DPJ, but the Lions needed that physical outside wide receiver that can block and go get you a jump ball if you need it. And he obviously wasn't that. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Throw J-Mo out there? Like, J-Mo can do it, but you need that physical presence on the outside. Doesn't have to be a number 1, but a guy that has the intangibles of a number 1. That's exactly what Tim Patrick brought. And there's a couple guys that you can go and see at the combine that I think you can even look for, even if Tim Patrick stays, that you talk about, Boone. You want to see a wide receiver taken in this draft. So wide receivers are definitely I'll be watching too.
Someone said here, John F. and Lord said the long snappers, Bone. Okay.
Come on now.
The long snappers. Juicy J in the chat. I think so. They might do like a different position. I could check here real quick. NFL Combine players. I don't know if long snappers. Actually, I don't think they do, because I don't think kickers are at the Combine. I'm pretty sure.
Probably not.
There's special teams here. I guess there might be kickers and punters. It looks like, actually. Yeah, I guess so. I don't think there's long snappers though. I don't know how
probably make their due at pro days.
I don't think there's ever been a long snapper drafted, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I don't think unless you're like one of the best in the world, like a Bama. I bet you one of the only long snappers ever snapped or drafted out of Bama. Has to be like
probably be like out of Navy.
A Nick Saban guy, right?
Random school. No, but I feel you. Quarterbacks though too. Cam Ward, Shadur.
I named it yesterday on the stream.
You know who, and we talked about it yesterday too. Jalen Milroe will be definitely interesting to watch at the combine because I think he has the most to gain and lose. Because I think people view him right now as like a second, third round pick. But if he goes out there and throws really good, I heard I think it was Jordan Palmer. He was talking about he wouldn't be surprised if this draft class turns into a year where it's like picks 27 through 32. Teams are coming up and getting a quarterback late in the first round. So like Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart. People are talking about Kyle McCord. If people
Lions
like
trade
trading
out.
up. Like think about teams like the Raiders. Like say the Raiders want to go get just using a T-Mac in the with their top 10 pick. Move back up late in the first and you go get Jalen Milroe. Not saying I agree with it, but that's going to be on team philosophy this year is with it being such a weak quarterback class. And if you need a quarterback, you can't just relax off free agency and not draft one. You have to make some type of move.
All right. Let's transition from that then. You said free agency, Klotzy.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this today because I don't think people are talking about it enough as well. Going into free agency. I'm not sure the exact day NFL. I can look it up. NFL free agency opens up. Free agency date. Let me check the date on that. March 12th. So it's coming up here pretty quick. Few weeks out that NFL free agency opens up, and I'm sure people are already having conversations behind the scenes illegally. And what is it called when you tampering? People are probably tampering. I wanted to talk about this though today. I wish Jeff was here to talk about this topic because I would be interested to see his thought process on it. But one thing we heard Brad say a lot, Klotz, is he doesn't fill the holes on this team through the draft, but he does that through free agency.
Yeah.
And you saw like last year, like those holes that needed to be filled. And I want to bring up here some of his picks, like him going out and getting Marcus Davenport last year. Like you needed an edge rusher. He didn't do it through the draft, and he went and got Marcus Davenport. D lineman, or like a defensive tackle, he didn't do it through the draft. He went and got DJ Reader. Like you needed a guard, he went and got Kevin Zeitler. You needed a corner, he went and got he got Amik Robertson. He got Carlton Davis. So like you've seen him when there are like big holes on this team. You have seen Brad Holmes go out and say, hey, I'm going to go get those guys. Now, have those guys worked out? I can go through just this last year one. Kevin Zeitler, yes, but what? 1 year deal, correct?
Yeah.
DJ Reader, I would say worked out, but your whole defensive line got hurt. Marcus Davenport, failure of a signing. Am I wrong on that?
No.
Amik Robertson, I would say that's a decent signing. Then the Carlton one, that was a trade. You traded for him. It wasn't a free agency, but you made the move in the offseason to go pick him up. My thought process is this. And I want the chat to respond, and I want to hear what you think, Klotz. Jeff, if you're there and you can still hear me, drop it in the comment section what you think. But is this the most important? Like, does Brad Holmes have the most pressure on him in this free agency draft class? Like, it feels like he has missed and hit on some. Some of them he's brought in have been great. Some he's brought in, like the Marcus Davenport one, has been brutal. Is this the most important free agents class? Knowing that he doesn't approach the draft with filling the holes, but he needs to fill these small holes in free agency. You see where I'm coming from here, Klaus?
Are you saying for Brad Holmes in his career, or are you saying for Brad Holmes compared to the rest of the NFL?
No, I don't care about the rest of it. I'm saying for the Detroit Lions' sake to win a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Because I think there's no other way to look at it than in 2023 to 2024 or 2024 to 2025, you get to the NFC Championship game and people were saying, oh, maybe you not overestimated. You took a step farther than you were expected to. You overcompensated. You won more than you were expected to. Don't know what the word I'm trying to think of here, Boone, but you get what I'm saying. And so people are like, okay, well, they should be directly back in the NFC Championship game. You trade for Carlton Davis, you bring in DJ Reader, but then you sign Marcus Davenport to the glaring hole that was on the defensive side of the football. You needed a corner, you addressed it with Carlton Davis. Love that move. But then at the position that honestly matters more, the defensive end, you bring in Marcus Davenport, who is proven to be hurt, and you bring him in for a 1-year deal, so you're really not paying attention to it. The Lions right now, especially how the NFC was entering last season compared to this season, need to go all in, because we look at all these contracts that are going to have to start getting signed in 2 to 3 years. I understand the cap is going up and going up and going up at Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to start to be young guys that need to stay around. They get paid, so he's not going to have the flexibility to make moves like he is. We're talking about an opportunity to trade for a guy like Myles Garret. Myles Garret. And the Detroit Lions, what do they need? Every team in the NFL needs Myles Garret. But when you look at position-wise, the Detroit Lions could use Myles Garret more than half the other contenders in the NFL right now. You look at the offensive line, like you just said, he has to be able to rejuvenate that. If Kevin Zeitler doesn't come back, you have to find a guy that can produce like Kevin Zeitler, or else you're probably not going to make it to a Super Bowl. This offensive line has to stay elite. The defensive line has to become elite. And if he just kind of sits there, panders, brings in Azeez Ojulari on the other side of Hutch, takes a defensive end in the 3rd round, goes and makes another Hendon Hooker, Sione Vaki type of pick. The Lions, they're going to stay in the same spot, and the Lions need to get better. I understand that injuries were a huge cause for the losses last year, but those injured players aren't guaranteed to be right back where they were last year. Hutch is still going to be very good. I'm not talking about him, but you look at guys like Alim McNeill. What is Alim McNeill? A defensive tackle. Alim McNeill's a big boy. For him to suffer a knee injury, that's a big deal because he's not going to be guaranteed to be the Alim McNeill that he was. And what did he do? Just get signed to a bag, and he was the guy that they signed to expect to get better. Not saying Alim's going to fall off the earth, but I don't think it's fair to expect Alim McNeill to be instantly Alim McNeill next year. He's coming off a devastating knee injury. So Brad has to make this team better because the Commanders, they're going to be making a ton of moves this offseason. The Eagles, Howie Roseman's going to be making moves. The Bears got better. The Vikings, they've got a weird situation going on with the quarterback room. They could be bringing in J.J. McCarthy. They could be bringing in Matthew Stafford. But the Vikings are going to get better, especially long-term if they start J.J. this year. And then the Packers, they had a down year. They're probably going to be in a wide receiver. My point is the NFL is going to get better. I understand Brad Holmes is going to fill the holes in free agency, but I think this is a year where I agree with you, Boone. The most pressure to do the most because this is a year where the Lions, they're expected to be Super Bowl contenders last year. Injuries. But now what are you going to do about it this year? You saw the injuries happen. Make a move. Make sure that even if injuries happen, this team is still good enough. So, yes, I do think without a doubt, this is the biggest offseason for Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions in their whole franchise history.
Yeah, I mean, offseason, I agree. Like, I think so. I just say, like, free agency when you look at it. Like, take whoever you haven't re-signed away, right? Like, Carlton's a free agent. That has to be figured out. Like, so you're looking at your corner position. Brad's got to make a move in free agency in corner, whether it's Carlton. If he doesn't make a move with Carlton, it's like a must. It's a must that you have to go out and get another corner, a starting corner. And then you look at O-line, like Kevin Zeitler's a free agent. Guess what? If you want to go keep competing, you have to replace or re-sign Kevin Zeitler. Whether you want to throw Christian Mahogany in there or not, all right, are you trusting Graham Glasgow? So it's like that's another position group. To me, you have to go get I know this is a dumb one. I'm just reading down my list here. Backup quarterback. Like, do you guys trust Hendon Hooker? Klotz, yes or no?
No. Hey, what are we talking about?
Like,
Jameis.
So, like, you have to go get a backup quarterback. Edge, whether you draft one or get Myles Garret, like, to me, you have to get depth in that room. So in free agency, you have to be looking for free agent edges, defensive line, the defensive tackle. Like, Alim McNeill's been injured his last 2 years. DJ Reader's getting older. You have to get depth in your D line. So you have to go out and find guys behind there. You don't know what Mekhi Wingo's going to be yet. Broderick hasn't worked out. So who's backing those guys up? Do you really trust Levi and Josh? Like, there's questions there. To me, like, if Melifonwu, if Brian Branch, knock on wood, or Kirby go down, who's your backup safeties? You have to go get a free agent. Like, to me, wide receiver, Tim Patrick, you have to go get another number 3. Like, there's just so many pieces I think that people aren't looking at in this Detroit Lions offseason. Say, oh, butterflies, rainbows. No, Brad's got to make some moves here in free agency. We keep bringing up, this is where I thought today, Klotz, like, we keep bringing up draft. Guys, like that, this free agent class, go look at it. You have to go find some dudes like Brad, and he's found guys. Like, I'm not saying Brad hasn't. What I'm saying is, out of his last 2 years since we've been good in free agency, like, he's brought Demont in, man. Like, Josh Reynolds at one point, Alex Anzalone. Like, Brad has brought some dudes in free agency. But to me, he has to do that again this year. And it can't be guys who are going to be injured like the Marcus Davenports of the world. Like, pressure's on, Brad. You have to go get free agents. Like, you have to, and again, people are going to take, I know there's going to be people around the city who are going to maybe take this like, oh, Booner's not going at Brad. This is just me straight up just being honest that, hey, no one's really talked about it, but this free agent class, Brad's got to make some moves here if we want to stay competing, because you have so many guys that are free agents and 50% of them probably aren't coming back, right? Like they're going to get contracts elsewhere because they were just on a really good team, and they're going to have to make a decision. And Brad's going to have to find ways to replace certain guys, and you have to make those moves. So you just have to sit back and be like, okay, Brad, like we've seen you work your magic before. Like go make some of those David Montgomery type moves. Like really do it. And he drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. So if you guys are like Klotz, people are like, well, they already have starters. Okay, if you think that, the man went and got Jahmyr or David Montgomery in free agency, still had DeAndre Swift, and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. He doesn't care. He's like, go get me. I want some free agents. So it's something to keep an eye on. I think March, what did I say? March 13th, I think, is free agents opens, or March 11th. So it's like 2 or 3 weeks away that this thing's about to start heating up.
Because it's not that strong of a free agency class, like at least for where the Lions need players. Like we talk about Myles Garret, and we're going to get into some possible cut candidates. But as starting off, it's like a wide receivers and basically Trey Smith. And outside of that, there's really no big splash players. I mean, defensive end, you're talking about Khalil Mack, who's just at this point, like Khalil Mack's very good, but he's probably in his last year in the NFL, or at least last team in the NFL, last contract for sure. But like the defensive talent, like there's really no young guns that are free agents right now. So it's going to be hard for Brad to go get a dude if he's not trading. So I think he's got to make another Carlton Davis type of move, if not two of them. You got that comp pick. You traded it third for Carlton. Go find a defensive end, a linebacker to replace Derek Barnes that can make a difference. Brad's got the ammo to do it. He's definitely smart enough to do so. He's made a ton of moves. I like, and we said it, but we have faith in Brad. But you're more so, I think it's emphasizing this offseason.
Yes, because there's a lot of people who like, hey, no, he's going to be good. No, like again, Brad's made really good moves in free agency, but there's also been moves where you've questioned a little bit. It's just me. Hey, this is one of those off seasons where you really are going for a Super Bowl next year. I thought it was interesting hearing Brad say, actually, I don't know if you, and I can go clip it for maybe Monday, but he had spoke, I think it was Channel 4 he did a sit down interview with. And one thing that he kind of started off with was how the Lions love, like since he came in the building, him and Dan's goals, Klotz, were every year to take one step forward, like get better each year, 1 year at a time. And like, just focus on that. Don't focus on the long term, 1 year at a time. And he brought up, he said, going to the NFC Championship game last year to losing in the divisional round this year, whether we won 15 or not, we took a step back. Like this was the first year in my regime, he said, that we didn't take a step forward and get better. And he was like, that hit to me, that hit to Dan. And he said, I'm going to do everything this offseason, and we're going to go into this offseason and do everything to get better for next year. So I do think he's going to be a little more aggressive. And I think like the free agent class, you're going to see like 4 or 5 new dudes in free agency. He's done it every year. And as much as you think, hey, they have starters, he gets new guys every single year. Like it has to happen. All right, let's do this then, Klotz. I'll throw a little wrench into the show here. Let's just do, and we'll go through these. Let's go through these a little quicker so we don't, because I know we want to get to the mock draft at 9:15. We have a couple segments still, but we'll go through this list quick. We'll just do kind of a yes or no and in the chat. I'll start off on the NFC side. Cut candidates here. This is on NFL.com. Let me see who wrote it. Matt Okada.
Shout out.
So we're going to do the NFC candidates first, and then we'll do the AFC. There's a lot here, so we'll go a little quicker. And in the chat, we'll see what you guys think. Obviously, first one here, Debo. I'm going to say no right off the bat. I don't know about you, Klotz. What do you think? No?
Yeah, not a chance. Debo is somebody that the Lions could have used 2 years ago, maybe, but the emergence of Jameson Williams, you don't need Debo Samuel.
Get that highlight.
No way, no how.
All right, Marshawn Lattimore. Again, I'm going to say no as well. That I think what we saw last year.
Marshawn Lattimore would have my attention. I understand that him and AJ Brown look like in the playoffs, but Marshawn Lattimore again was with Aaron Glenn in New Orleans, so he's going to be used to this type of scheme. Dan Campbell has some familiarity with him, and he's still better than Terron Arnold probably right now, day one.
I'm going to say out on Marshawn. I just think he's at that point. I think he's at that point of his career. He looked cooked. It wasn't even just that. That man just looked cooked the second half of this year.
Nah, man. He's
Etienne said he has a little ball left, a bit of juice left. I don't know, dude.
Think about
he has a back injury, I think, and that back injury, Klotz, once your back gets hurt, I'm not saying your career is over, but you're not like you were before if you were at that level.
Kindle Vildor.
Oh no, I would say if you're talking about like your third or fourth CB, yeah, obviously Marshawn, but he wants to go somewhere to play.
If you're able to bring in Carlton, you have Terrion. Like we've seen guys like Marshawn Lattimore. He's going to start entering that Stephon Gilmore. Like you keep Amik inside if you want to, and you can keep Marshawn Lattimore outside. You have
Marshawn's not going to want to take he's not going to be like I'll play a limited role. There's no way
to go.
I still don't know. I don't think he will. I think he's out on it.
You give him like a 7-year contract, I'd be for it.
All right, next one, Cam Jordan. Yes or no? Familiar with the defense, like you said, Klotz.
Yeah. This is like what you're saying with Marshawn Lattimore. I'm saying with Cam Jordan.
It's tough. I think Cam's got a little more juice than Marshawn.
No, personally. I mean he's old. He's literally older, Boo.
Hey, that's fair. I still think he's got juice. I like Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan 2-3 years ago, absolutely not anymore.
How many sacks did he have this year? Does it say? I don't know if it says. I don't want to.
Real quick.
Cam Jordan highlights right there too. You see that? Derek Carr, we'll just skip that one. Derek, that's a no-go. Tyler Lockett, no, probably not. Don't need that type of receiver.
No, because that's JMO. I would say maybe on the outside, but you don't need it.
Defensive tackle.
Four sacks this year, Boone. Cam Jordan.
This is a double one here. Onyemata or Grady Jarrett, one of the two.
I would love Grady Jarrett for sure. Onyemata is still really solid. I would say yes to both of these guys.
I think this is just like some good depth. If someone goes down or you need a third guy, this is like over. These guys are over guys like Broderick or Mackay or Levi O. When we're talking about replacing those guys, these are the guys where you're like, yep, that's kind of an upgrade.
These guys are giving DJ Reader a comp for sure. And with Alim McNeill not going to be fully healthy, like I would not be. If you sign Grady Jarrett or David Onyemata, they're starting over Alim McNeill week 1 probably next year.
Ooh.
And you can have
Jonah Jackson to come back. What if he got cut?
Yeah, not a chance.
Depth?
Onyemata, former Saint too.
Depth?
Yeah, no chance of Jonah Jackson. No.
Depth?
No.
Chat? How do we like this one, chat?
Too little, too late.
No?
Not a chance.
Next one. All right. Tremaine. Oh, this one was actually interesting when I saw this. Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards? I think they're both inside guys, correct?
Yeah, but they could play. Like you're talking, Derek Barnes was drafted as an inside guy.
Could they play? Go where Derek Barnes?
TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. More so, TJ Edwards can play anywhere. Like you could put. I would say probably more yes to TJ Edwards because Edmonds is probably going to command more money. But I don't see it. They might let Edmonds go. No way the Bears let Edwards.
They said, I mean, if you read it here, Klotz, like I was reading it earlier, they just said with some dead money, just different things with their money and what they're trying to build in Chicago, that they wouldn't be shocked if both of these guys end up getting cut.
You know how much I love Robert Spillane, Boone?
Yeah.
TJ Edwards clears by a long shot. TJ Edwards is so good.
Chat.
Give me TJ Edwards.
All right. TJ Edwards. I'll see what the chat said, but they're a little behind maybe. Noah Fant. No, we pass on that. We were just talking about Noah Fant. Someone in the chat said he's not as good as we were hyping him up to be, and he's on the cut list potentially now. I still like him. Miles Sanders, no, we'll skip this one. This one right here. This is the one, Klotz, that I think you were the one that brought up when me and you were talking about Darius Slay. You said, hey, potentially James Bradbury is the one that stays in Philly, and they cut Darius Slay. Was that you that said that? I think you brought it up. Or vice versa.
I would love to take credit here, but I did not say that.
I heard someone say, like, one of these guys are going to end up getting cut, and the other one's going to stay. I can't remember who it was, though. I cannot remember. Would you take either one or no?
Again, this is like the Marshawn Lattimore conversation that we're having. Like, bring in for like a depth piece, like a third man that you could play like dime. You can throw him out there. Something injury pops up, which is eventually going to happen. You can throw them in as your starter as long as they're not trying to get a bag. Like either of them, I'd be okay with. Both of them have played in Super Bowls, won Super Bowl champions. They're better than Kindle Vildor. I'd have some confidence with them out there. So either of them, I'd be okay with. Not jumping up and down, but like I'm saying, I'd be okay with.
All right. All right. Hear me out. Hear me out, Klotzy.
I'm ready to hear you. I'm ready.
Taysom Hill, Dan Campbell was in New Orleans. Was he tight ends coach in New Orleans? I think so. I could be wrong with that, but I believe he was. I don't know if he was there with Taysom Hill. Dan loves his trick plays. Dan loves throwing teams off. Taysom Hill is the best in the league at being like, hey, let's throw this guy out there to do this. This isn't even like a thing where you're like, hey, Taysom Hill's taking over for Laporta. Taysom Hill knows he's not a tight end. He knows he's not this. He knows he could be everything. He could be whatever he wants. You could throw that man at left guard. I'm sure he'll do something. Like, this guy does everything. Imagine just bringing Taysom Hill in and just being like, that's our wild card. That's our Jason Kuminga on steroids. Think about that.
No,
I actually don't hate a Taysom Hill in Detroit.
Jason Kuminga, that's insane.
But I'm saying, like, he can play fullback, he could play a tight end, running back, quarterback, receiver. He could do anything you want him to be.
And he got paid a bag when he was in New Orleans, so he's not going to be looking for money. This is a move that I'd be 1,000% all for, Boone. You want a backup quarterback too? Backup quarterback. Put him at the push, Taysom Hill. I would be all for it because he's a guy
I actually
that you
love
can put
this.
in. Like, you could just put him on like 3rd and 2. You can run or throw the ball. Get Goff off the field for a second. Come up with a game plan. Do what you got to do, and you can put him down there. Like, you could put him in that Shane Zylstra role as well. Brock Wright, Sam Laporta, Taysom Hill.
The Dan Skipper role where he's running a route. Like, you could do anything.
I agree with Ryan here, though. I think you're literally about to put it up too. He'll be a Bronco. He'll go back to Sean Payton.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
I'd be for it. It'd be cheap.
We could skip this Gerald Everett tight end. I think that's your guy though, Klotz. You used to like him.
I do. Chemistry with Goff.
Yeah, but I just don't know if you have Brock Wright and Roy Robertson Harris. What do you think, Klotzy?
What did he have that I'm not familiar with?
Looked like logged total of 0 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 13 tackles, and 188 defensive snaps.
Cool. I'm cool on it.
Yeah.
I'm all right. No need to spend money on it.
Darius Williams?
No, went down this scenario last year.
All right, that's all AFC. Let's go or NFC. Let's go AFC real quick. We'll go through this list a little quicker. Yes or no? Actually, we can take our time on this. We can get to 9 o'clock here. AFC cut candidates. Same guy. Uh-oh. Klotzy, can I make a case for this?
I'm going to agree with your case.
Can I make a case for an Allen Lazard?
You can. Absolutely.
If Tim Patrick goes to the Jets, I'll say this, and let me look up what Allen Lazard did this year. And I know he had chemistry with Jared or with
Aaron
Rodgers. But this man had 530 yards and 6 touchdowns this season. That's productive, in my opinion. Like I like Allen Lazard.
He's just a younger Tim Patrick. You can make fun of Allen Lazard all you want, but there was games where if you tuned into the Jets, for some reason, Allen Lazard was just going crazy. It would be a deep shot. He can stretch the field. Honestly, if you want me to be completely honest, I think Allen Lazard can bring more to the field for the Detroit Lions than Tim Patrick. I'd rather have Tim Patrick because I called my shot with Tim Patrick, saying this dude's going to be a real impact on this team. But Allen Lazard does everything that Tim Patrick does, and he can stretch the field a little bit better. So you can hate him for being a former Packer and one of Aaron Rodgers' guys, but he's literally just Tim Patrick, a little bit younger, a little bit faster.
Yeah, I agree. I think people just hate on him quick. Malik said he drops a lot of balls. I guess I'll have to see like the percentage of his drop percentage or something. I would have to see that, but I would be in on Allen Lazard. Glad we're on the same. Jeez, Travis Kelce.
No way.
Imagine if they cut him.
I would be so fucking mad. That's
Imagine if they cut him, though. Mark Andrews a cut candidate, too. This is crazy for the tight ends. We'll just move on from that. Okay, this is a good one.
Joey Bosa, the Buckeye. The man out of St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida at high school was a Buckeye. Led the team to a national championship. Drafted by the Chargers. Had Brandon Staley as his head coach, but still produced. Now he gets Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers are going to be really good, and he's probably going to be cut with Khalil Mack. And I think if you put Joey Bosa and Aiden Hutchinson together,
oh my gosh,
that's like everybody wants Aiden Hutchinson and Jack Sawyer together, Ohio State, Michigan. If you put Bosa and Hutchinson together, good night. Good night, because he's going to be somebody that's chasing a ring so bad, because especially early on in his career when they had Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, like the Chargers were solid. They were making playoff runs, and they were running into Brady. He was playing in the AFC West, chasing after Patrick Mahomes for Patrick Mahomes' entire career. Bring Joey Bosa home and let him run after J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Love, and Caleb Williams.
Yep.
This is a guy that
Green.
It might not be Myles Garret, but Joey Bosa is damn fucking good. He's a top 10 defensive end in football.
I think this is a good thought process too. A little bit. I know that the Myles Garret stuff trumps all because it's Myles Garret, Defensive Player of the Year. But like realistically, Brad has. I feel like Brad's going to end up having a lot of options for edge. I do think guys like Joey Bosa is going to be available to where you're able to get him. Khalil Mack's a free agent. There are a couple big-time edge rushers that you're like, okay, maybe we can pursue. A guy like Max Crosby, I know people think that he's not available. I wouldn't be shocked this offseason if he's like, hey, I kind of do want out. Like, starting a kind of a new regime there. Like, I do think there's an opportunity to where I know we're on the Myles Garret thing, and I think we all are like, yep, Myles Garret, which that's like number one option. But I think outside of the Myles Garret, like a guy like Joey Bosa, I wouldn't be shocked if Brad makes kind of an outside-the-box move, and it's like out of nowhere. You're like, Joey Bosa's cut, and then you're sitting there for another week, and then it's like Joey Bosa's signing a 2-year deal with the Detroit Lions or a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions. And you're like, whoa, like how that just shook up the whole NFL. Like the whole NFC just got shook up because Joey Bosa or a Khalil Mack is signing with the Lions to pair up with Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, I looked up Joey Bosa, and the first thing they said is watch out for the Niners to get him.
That would be tough. Him and Nick would be.
Oh, and that
if he had a choice, I'm sure he actually would do that too. Actually, like the more you think about it, unless like the Lions paid him some money. All right, let's see who the next one is here. This is one though. I'll say this about Sam Hubbard. I didn't think Sam Hubbard. Like I watched a couple Bengals games this year. They were primetime a lot. Sam Hubbard seemed to come up and make plays. I only think he had like 2 or 3 sacks this year.
Yeah,
I don't think he had a lot, but he still was making plays.
He was like a rotational guy that just would be eating up double teams. Trey Hendrickson, obviously a sack machine. Not saying Sam Hubbard is the reason why, but Sam Hubbard is a guy that you do have to be responsible for because he can tear up games. Like we all remember that game where I believe it was Tyler Huntley, it was Baltimore, where they were trying to go over the 1-yard line, fumble. Sam Hubbard's running back 99 yards. Like he's a guy that is really good against the run. You're not signing to be a starter, but boom, this is a guy that can go in and replace Marcus Davenport. Sam Hubbard is better than Marcus Davenport without a doubt.
Those Levi O's, those players, you're like, give me Sam Hubbard instead.
Yeah, he's like, I'm trying to like not say like sounds disrespectful, but he's bringing you in year, I don't know what year he is, probably like Jack Sawyer level. Like that Jack Sawyer's floor is Sam Hubbard. Yeah. And so to have that, like, it's all right. Coming off the rotation. Him and
I don't know what Sheldon Rankins did this year. Signed a 2-year deal with Cincy, missed 10 games. Yeah. I'm out instantly. Cool. I don't care what he did, to be honest. I just don't want to bring these guys
who DJ like, Reader's backup. Or
who missed this game. All right, what about this one? Von Miller. 14 sacks in, it looks like the last 3 seasons.
He's got to be cheap.
I want to hate this either. This is one of those pieces because he could play kind of that Derek Barnes position, correct?
He'd be more of like a James Houston. He's like an edge. He's like a 3-4.
I thought maybe if you could throw him at the Sam
that much.
I thought if there was a chance you could throw Von Miller at the Sam and let him just do what you want out there, brother. Hey, you do what you want.
No, he's not a Sam guy. He's like a 3-4, like a TJ Watt.
Hey, vet though, he's won it. He knows what it takes. That's why I would be shocked if the Bills did cut him. To be honest, the Bills did come out and say no. Christian Kirk, I'd probably say no. Correct.
Pass. Yeah.
Alex Kappa at guard. I guess. What?
He's just older. Like I think if you're gonna replace, like if you're gonna sign him for maybe like a 1-year deal, that's fine. But
what if Zeitler walks and you bring Alex Kappa?
Not bad. He was with Brady with the Bucks. Good guard for him when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. He's allowed 15 sacks. 3rd most in the league over the last 3 years.
I mean, anybody on the Bengals offensive line was really bad last year.
All right, that's all of them. Is there anyone else that you think around the league? I don't know if anyone in the chat. I know, honestly, I've seen like 4 or 5 cut candidate articles today. That was the first one that I saw, so I used that. But there's a lot more. I'd be interested to see, though. I think it's going to start happening. I wonder if anyone on the Detroit Lions would end up getting cut for
I mean, yeah,
reasons.
There's probably going to be a couple people that get cut. I don't think anybody, as far as starters wise, there's no like really egregious contracts that you're looking at. You're not looking at the Charles Harrises anymore. It's like I feel like they got the books cleaned up. But yeah, I was literally just about to say the spirit of Detroit, Jair Alexander. That's been like a thing for the last couple of seasons.
I don't think we would. I don't know. You wouldn't. I don't think we would be like, would we? I don't know.
Division rival. Keep him in the division. He's hurt. So is Carlton Davis. Jair Alexander, and he always misses games against the Lions. He never plays against the Lions.
Ryan Atten said Germ and Zadarius Smith are the only candidates. I guess, yeah, Zadarius being you can opt in, but I think it depends on if they get Myles Garret. If you get Myles Garret, even if you get Myles Garret, I'll say it. You opt into his contract. What is it? 13 million, 10 to 13 million. I feel like that's cheap for like your third best pass rusher. Not cheap, but like at the level you get him at. If one of those guys goes down, you still have Zadarius on the other side of them.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to remember, I think Brad's going to realize it too. He already does, especially with Graham Glasgow. You're going to get what you pay for. Like I think the days of like getting a bargain deal are kind of over. Like, I think we've seen those, and it's like we've talked about over and over again. Time to move on from them. Like, I don't think you can expect to find a starting guard for the next 3 years on a 3-year, $30 million contract, if that makes sense, or 3-year, whatever Graham's was.
So I wonder if this is true. So Spirit of Detroit podcast said Jair was informed by the team. I wonder if that's actually happened here. I'm going to go look it up.
It was just a thing last year.
That's interesting. February 18th, John Fraschilla, he has 90,000. NFL writer and insider. He said breaking news a couple days ago. Corner Jair Alexander's tenure with the Green Bay Packers likely over.
It'd be interesting.
I don't even know where he would end. Oh my gosh, I just saw a picture of him with the Ravens.
He played. I think he went to Louisville with Lamar, and they need secondary help bad.
That's tough.
I think Marlon Humphrey's probably another name to watch too. Because they just drafted Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey. Like, he had a shaky year.
Nate Wiggins, Jair Alexander, and Kyle Hamilton. That's like that secondary.
Super strong, but I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Jair would be nice. Yeah, I guess so. That would be tough for some of the guys, though.
Washington, too. I wouldn't be surprised if I could see him going to Washington.
That'd be interesting. Jeez, Jair Alexander available. That's crazy. I wonder how much he's going to want, though.
Not that he got a bag last time. So, I mean, he's not going to be cheap. Like, you're not going to get him for
come to Detroit. Hey, stay healthy. If you stay healthy and you're in Detroit, that would change everything.
So good.
That would change everything. Oh my gosh, that would change everything. All right, I want to do this, Klotz. Let's turn the page here real quick. We've got about 15 minutes, and we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more segments before we do the draft. I had this idea today, and I would love to know if the people where they're at this. Now, I want to be very clear, Klotzy. This isn't me saying anything negative about players, nothing like that. What I want to do with this segment, I want to bring a light. And I want to get what's a good word to say, Klotz? Like a vibe around the Detroit Lions. Yeah, I just want to get a feel for Detroit Lions fan base going into next year for some of these players on this Detroit Lions team. What I called it, Booner's questions for 2025. It's as simple as that. I've got questions for 2025. And with that, my first guy, again, I want to say, this isn't me going at this player. This is me being like, this is an open forum. This is a trust circle, correct, Klotzy?
Correct.
Okay, this is an open forum. This is a trust circle. How do we feel about this guy going into next year? Is there any worries? Is there question marks? Are we okay? Is everything going to be fine? Alim McNeill. Booner's question for 2025. The player is defensive tackle, Alim McNeill. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go into a little bit here. This man, after year 1 and year 2, and Klotz, I'm sure you agree with me, was supposed to take not even after year 1 and year 2. It was like that third year. We saw that 2023 year and the end of 2022, and everyone's like, all right, Alim's about to have a breakout year in 2024. Like, this is going to be the big year for him. He's going to get up there with some of these elite defensive tackles. He's going to go get double digits.
We were comparing it to
Matabuke. He's going to get double-digit sacks. He's going to get paid like guys like Quinnen Williams, like Cam Hayward. Like, he's going to get these big deals. Everyone's going to be like, this is one of the best defensive tackles in football. But the last 2 seasons, Klotzy, and this is where at some point you have to start questioning, the little question mark, right? This is where, hey, Booner's question for 2025. Is there a legitimate concern? I'm not saying that there is, but I'm asking the people, is there a legitimate concern? His first 2 seasons, he played in all 17 games. The last 2 seasons, 13 games, 14 games. I see already in the chat, Malik Blue said, Alim still graded out very well at PFF. Top 10, actually, Malik, in PFF. That's why we're just asking questions, and we're just kind of getting a feel for the room. What are the expectations for Alim next year? What are we going to be looking at? Because, Klotz, this is where I go with it. Going into last year, there was the, hey, expectation. Was there any, hey, you need this from him? Maybe not. But in my opinion, when you sign a 4-year, $97 million contract, I think things change a little bit. When you become when you become the 3rd highest paid defensive tackle player at your position, things change a little bit. At that point, to me, it's the same thing. And it's the people, Klotzy, that put the same pressure on a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to be a top 3 paid defensive edge in the next year or two. They put that pressure on him, but then when they go, hey, Alim's a top 3 paid defensive tackle, we need production, but there's no like, hey, where's the production at? Because, and I'll pull it up real quick. I took a couple notes here. You guys see there his 2023 stats, correct? 13 games, 14 games, 5 sacks, went down. He played in 1 more game and went down. I might have got the games mixed up. Actually, it could be right, Klotz. I don't know. I don't know if someone stat checked that. But either way, 5 sacks last year, 3.5 this year. The sack production was down. 43 pressures to 45, got 2 more, 6 tackles for a loss, 7 tackles for a loss. To me, Klotz, and I'm just going to be quite frank, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I expected a lot out of Alim this year, like a lot. And especially going into the year with the $97 million contract extension and saying, hey, you're going to be a top 5 defensive tackle in the NFL. You're paid like it. We need you to be it. And his stats didn't improve at all across the board. They're essentially the exact same. You're looking at the same stats. He played it, it's basically the same amount of games because there's another injury this year. And then there's less sacks, a sack and a half less, 2 more pressures, and 1 more tackle for a loss at that position. And to me, for a while, you had Aiden Hutchinson, and he wasn't putting up numbers. For a while, you had DJ Reader, and these are still the numbers. Like, you went and got Zadarius Smith, these numbers. Like, there were factors in this where you're like, wait a second, like, this, you had everything around you. And Ryan Ann, sacks aren't everything, though. Like, no, they're not. But let me just, Ryan, I mean, these are the things where people start to get defensive. I see people, Malik Blue, I think he'll be fine, though. Like, yeah, I get that. The question more so to me is like, look, like, this is right in front of you with Alim. Alim is an unbelievable, he is a dog, great player, but you're paying him top 3 money at his position group. And this is the guys that he is. These are the guys that he is either right up there with, or he makes more money than this last season. And again, games played are a little different, but essentially to me, it's like you see the 3.5 sacks in 14 games, Klotzy, 40 pressures in 13, 14 games, like 3 more games added to it. What would he have? Like 50 something pressures and like 4 sacks. Like, that's not a big jump. These are the people, and all the people who are defending him, these are the people that you're comparing him and he's getting paid to. Chris Jones, 88 pressures, 5 sacks. The last 2 seasons, 10.5 sacks, 15.5 sacks. Klotzy, Matabuke that we just talked about, 60 pressures, 6.5 sacks, 13 sacks the year before, 5.5 the year before. Cam Hayward, 59 sacks, 8 sacks this year, even at the age he's at. Last year he had 2, but the year before he had 10.5 and 10. Other guys who are even paid less than him, Quinnen Williams right now, 54 pressures, 6 sacks. 5.5 sacks the year before, 12 the year before, 6, 7. Jalen Carter in year 2, 75 pressures, 4.5 sacks, 6 sacks in his rookie year. Kobe Turner, Klotzy, 62 pressures, 8 sacks, 9 sacks. Braden Fisk, a rookie, 59 pressures, 8.5 sacks. Leonard Williams, 55 pressures, 11 sacks. Levi O, 47. Like, and Levi O, I threw that in there. He played in 3 more games, but like, he is 47 pressures, big fella in there. Like, and then I looked at, hold on, there was one more I had. Oh, DJ Reader. I put DJ Reader in there. Played 1 more game than him and had 3 sacks. That was his career high in sack. Like, that's not his job. Like, he's not going to get the quarterback. Let's get some pressure on this pocket. So my point is, and I get the people who are like sticking up for, I think Alim's going to be fine. I just think going into this year, Klotzy, like the man, major ACL injury. He's probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. And you're paying him $97 million, and it's going to be the third straight year he's probably going to miss games. He hasn't really produced sack-wise for you. And again, sacks aren't everything. Like, okay, if you're in the chat saying sacks aren't everything, let me go see some of your chats from over a year ago when you were saying Alim McNeill, double-digit sacks. Give me 8 sacks from Alim McNeill. Give me 9 sacks from Alim McNeill. Oh, wait, hey, Booner, hey, what about all the other people who get paid more or less than him up at his position that are compared to him? Oh, they're all getting 7, 8, 9 sacks a year? Like, Klotz, to me, it's like there's an expectation at that position. If you're going to get paid the third most at your position, you need to produce at that level. Part of your job, Alim, is to get to the quarterback. That is part of helping this defensive line. You're not a DJ Reader where you just get pressure. You are supposed to be getting to the quarterback and making those plays. Hasn't done it the last 2 seasons, in my opinion, and you're expecting him to take that big step. Like, this is a huge question mark for me this year, and I'm going to have like what are those things called? Binoculars on Alim McNeill every single game when he gets back. Every game.
I'm with you, and that's why I was very hesitant when Alim McNeill got signed during the season the way he did, like for the amount of money, because and this is why I'm not saying Alim McNeill is going to be bad, but when you look at, he's had numerous injuries before, defensive tackle, big boy. The reason why you sign him is because you can get after the quarterback. Injuries are going to take a slight ding to that naturally. But even when Aiden Hutchinson was healthy, because that's what people are going to revert to, well, Hutch wasn't there. Alim McNeill, he was getting double teamed. When Aiden Hutchinson was healthy, Alim McNeill had 0 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson leaves the game against Dallas. Alim McNeill gets 2 sacks, then gets paid after that game. So I look at that, and that's definitely concerning because we talk about all the time how important money is to keep this team together. And you paid Alim McNeill to play like a top 5 defensive tackle, and we all know that he's not right now, but he was projected to be that. And when you're paying on projection, and now there's a torn ACL, you don't know if he's going to be fully healthy to start the year next year. But even when he does come back, he's not going to be able to just be like, okay, Alim's back. He's got to get reincorporated, and then he's got to stay healthy the rest of the regular season. So I get that you signed the contract early to kind of get ahead of schedule. But to your point, when you get signed to that contract, now there's standards. Now there's expectations you have to meet. And you're looking at the NFC North, the NFC in general, mobile quarterbacks, Alim McNeill, huge reason that the run defense is so good. But what do we always talk about? You got to be able to bring the quarterback down. And the reason why you sign him to that amount of money is because you expect him to be in that 7 to 8 sacks a year type of range. And he's yet to do that. So I think he was paid a little early. I think he's still a really good defensive tackle, but you paid him to be a franchise type of guy. And again, he's yet to do that. So we're hoping next year can recover from a torn ACL. Tough to do. Not saying he can't do it, but if you're like locking in Alim McNeill to have a comeback season next year and it's going to be dominant, happy that you can have that opinion, but you can't act like it's 100%.
You have to see it. It's I think it's past the point of, and listen, these are people who tune in all the time. John Hughes. So because Alim was doing his job and Hutch was feasting, that means he wasn't good. And Ryan here, like he's had 2 injuries, ACL, MCL, where Aiden swung his leg into he's a similar position to Aiden. Like, listen, this is the thing. It's not that I'm sitting here saying Alim's not good. That's the last thing. Alim is an absolute monster. It's people in the chat or like people out there who continue like, hey, you're going to stick up for your Detroit Lions players and have all these excuses. No, like at some point you need production out of it. Like Alim, this is one of your highest paid guys position value wise.
Yeah.
Like value wise at that position, he is 3rd in the NFL at his position pay wise. Does he give you the same production that those other guys do? Straight answer, no. He hasn't the last 2 years. He's been an absolute monster in certain spots, and you've seen like the class, what are they? The spurts of it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. But when you get
paid away for 2-3 games.
Yes, but when you get paid that much money, that's when you're like, you need that every game. Whether, John, you have Aiden Hutchinson or not, like that's part of it. You have Hutch coming off the edge. It's open. It should open you up for a little bit more as well. Or even if you're getting the pressure and Hutch finishes it, like you shouldn't have 0 sacks through the time playing with Aiden Hutchinson. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't. You shouldn't go through 14 games when you're getting paid $97 million. You're the 3rd highest defensive tackle. And like guys, like these guys at this level, and there are guys who aren't even close getting paid to him, who just minimally at that position and what he's supposed to be doing are getting 6-7 sacks a year. Like I can name them again if you guys want. Like Leonard Williams, 11, Braden Fisk, a rookie, year 1, 8.5.
They don't have a Hutch. I understand they have Jordan.
Yes,
Jared
but Kobe
Verse,
Turner, same year, 8 sacks on the same team inside. Like these are guys who are playing defensive tackle together, and they're getting 8.5. And it's like, you need that. If you're going to get paid that much money, you bring that production. And there's no more like an excuse or this or that. Oh my gosh, he was so close. Look at those pressures. Look at that. It's the same expectation. And Klotz, I think you know who I'm talking about. But the people who a year ago were going at Aiden Hutchinson, oh, he's getting all these pressures. That's cute. When is it going to turn into sacks? It means nothing if it's not sacks. It's the same thing with Alim McNeill. And you can't say he's great run stopper. One of the best in the league. Him and DJ, that's one of the advantages of having him. But when you're talking about pass rush, something that you've struggled with year after year, and that's what's killing you in the playoffs, and that's what's killing you in big games, that's where the problem gets to. And that's where you start looking at it and going, hey, that's not a DJ Reader skill. That's your defense attack. That's an Alim McNeill thing. You're supposed to be getting 6, 7, 8 sacks out of him. You got 3.5 in 14 games. You can't say, oh, he missed 3. He was getting 1 more sack in 3 games. So he's at 4.5. You need 7, 8 out of this guy to be able to make it worth the $97 million, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of money, Klotz.
That's what I'm saying. Like people can be upset, but if you see that the Green Bay Packers were assigned a defensive tackle to that, and you were to see his production and his injury history, you would be kind of like, what are the Packers doing a little bit? So to be able not to shine that light on your own team that you support, you can do it, but to your point, Boone, it's blinders a little bit.
This is exactly what I'm talking about with some Lions fans who literally see gold when they see everything. This is why hey, do you want to win football games and be a Super Bowl champion? Everything isn't perfect. He said Brad is not a revered as GM as you guys think, and Alim is not as good as a pick. Buddy, that's the farthest thing that anyone's saying. We're saying we think Alim McNeill is that good. Brad picked him and found a gem, but the production has to come with it. The injuries have to stop. You have to stay healthy for 17 games, and you have to get the production. Stop being a slappy. Stop being one of those guys that has blinders on, and you try and stick up for every single thing that the Lions do, and start being realistic. Hey, where can we get better at? Like, you go through everyday life being like, everything's great. Like, no, there are things you need to get better at and learn and kind of improve. This is a thing with the Alim. Hey, you've got to start seeing some production if you're going to get paid that much. Sorry, Klotz. Those comments frustrate me a little bit. Like, what are you talking about here?
Brian Wall.
Yeah, Brian Wall.
You're damn right.
Yeah, hey, Brian. Hey, those are guys who, no one can do wrong in this world. No. Philly said, how do you stop injuries, Booner? I don't know, but that's part of the game, to where when you pay guys, like, you're risking injury. But again, it's like you ask guys to be healthy, right? Like, knees are knees. Like, it happens. Like, at that point, it's like you're just not getting the $97 million in production that you wanted. Like, you can say it's like, hey, we can be realistic. John, I would love for you. And you know what? I could probably go back to our old shows and you're commenting. What was your expectation for sack-wise for Alim last year? 85-90% of you all in the chat said over 8 sacks last year. I know that for a fact. Every single radio station and network here in Detroit said over 8 sacks this year. He played in 14 games and got a $97 million extension and had 3.5 sacks. So was that the bet? Are you guys all right now in the chat telling me to my face that was a great and unbelievable year and worth all of that money?
No, can't. It's like
Case
saying
closed.
You buy, let's take the million, let's change it to 1,000. Let's say you pay $97,000 for a car, Boone. Okay. You're expecting to have it for the next 4 to 5 years. And in that first year,
breaks
with
down
that car on that lease, oh shit. check engine light. Needs brakes. Needs this. You get it back, get it out the shop. You expect it to be great the next year. But is there any guarantee? No. And if you don't get it, you're going to be pretty mad because it's a nice car, but it only fucking works so often. And at the end of the day, good car, not a good investment. And I think that's a fair point to bring up. Like, this is a business at the end of the day. Brad Holmes, he's got to sign these guys. He's got to make these type of moves, but he's not always going to hit exactly on the amount that he's giving. So he's going to miss some. Not saying that Alim is not a guy that you should have kept in Detroit. Like, I'm happy Alim's here. But to a 4-year, $97 million, you're rolling the dice a little bit. And with rolling the dice, there's going to be some risk. We saw the negative of it, but hopefully next year you can see the positive.
See more. Again,
$7 million.
I just want to make this clear, too. I don't think, like someone said in there, too, like, he was still good when he played. Like, yeah, he had 45. Like, he was good at. To me, it's just more so production. Like, we're all complaining this offseason about not getting to the quarterback and getting sacks enough. Like, hey, Alim was there for 14 games. And I know there were some injuries, but, like, if Alim's out there getting 7, 8 sacks and you bring in another edge rusher in Za'Darius and he's getting 7, 8, and then you have Hutch with 15, like, what are we talking about, guys? Like, I don't know why people don't hold some guys to higher expectations. Like, I'm sure if I sat down with Alim, and hopefully we're able to meet him here in the offseason, but, like, I'm sure if I asked him too, like, hey, was last year, like, did you feel like you could have played better? I'm sure he would be like, yeah, I had 3.5 sacks, 7 like, I could have had 10 and 8 sacks. Like, he knows it. And I think, like, it's realistic. It's being like, hey, could have been better. So, all right, that was my Booners question for 2025. Maybe I'll start bringing that up once a week.
Yeah, like once a week.
Different players or different coaches or different things, because I thought that was a good conversation. Shout out to people in the chat too for joining in. All right, let's bring Caleb in here. Caleb, how we doing, brother?
Gentlemen, doing great. Excited, getting my inner GM on, getting all my draft prep ready to go.
How are you feeling? I know you had messaged me earlier in the week and said, hey, brother, like, hey, how's this? What do I need to know for the draft? And I kind of broke a little bit down for you. Do you feel good?
I feel good. I did a lot of research today. I've been doing research for the past couple of weeks. Watched a lot of film today. Ready to go. Ready to rock.
All right. Let's do it then. For the people, this is what we're doing. We are going to be doing a full first-round mock draft. Typically, it would be us 3, Jeff and Mike. So there's going to be 5 of us rolling. And we're just going to rotate through picks. What we're going to do today, it's just us 3. We're going to have picks. So let's do this. Klotz, I'm going to switch this. This is the order right here. Me, nice. I get the first overall pick. Caleb second.
Caleb gets the Browns.
Klotzy third. Yes, he does. I did a randomizer too. I sent you guys the randomizer. So it was as fair as could be. And we're going to go through the picks. And hey, people in the chat, you guys can join in, grade it as we go. And let us know how we do.
And then so we're just all on the same page, boys. Trade rules.
Yeah, let's just talk the trades out. We could just talk them out. We'll see what happens here. Fair. And if someone really wants to make a trade, just say, hey, I have this pick. I want to move up for this guy.
All right.
I feel like that's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like that's the easiest way too, instead of having to make it fucking complicated.
Yeah, and everyone, if you do end up trading, if you trade, that's your only trade for the
one trade.
The show. You don't get any more trades.
We on board, Caleb?
On board. Ready.
Like, you guys already created a trade? You guys GM already?
No, but I think that I definitely want to put in the mix here.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have to? I want to see something. And Klotz, maybe you can help out with this.
Yeah, what you need, Boone?
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Live. We can do that. When it goes off, too, by the way, boys, wait till it's over. You won't be able to hear yourselves. All right. Let's start the draft, boys. Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
First on the clock. The Tennessee Titans. I already have it. This is interesting, boys. Any trade offers? Any of the 2 boys want to trade?
No. I'm gonna stay put here, Boone.
I think I'm good.
Really?
Let us know when the pick's in.
Did you want one?
No, I was just.
Are you looking to trade out? I can make. No, we can make
I was thinking. I think with this draft, there's a potential the Titans trade out for a quarterback. I was just thinking if anyone maybe wanted a quarterback at 1, if there's someone that has a pick right now, I might go quarterback here. So if you like, there's like, hey, you have a pick and you're like, I really wanted this quarterback.
No, Boone, go ahead. Take your quarterback in the future in Tennessee. Go ahead. Take him.
All right.
Hold on. Is the pick in?
Hit the button. The pick is in. The pick is in. With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Abdul Carter, edge rusher
right,
out of Penn
love it.
State. Boys, and we don't have to go long on each explanation. I do think that they'll figure out their quarterback somehow, some way. I just don't think the Titans, like defensively, they just build up that defense. And I think if they sit there and they build this thing up, Abdul Carter is like a generational type player. I think it's like the Micah Parsons, like that type of leg. Will be one of the best in the NFL at one point. Can't pass on him.
I'm with you, Boone.
Well,
right, Caleb.
Boone, that threw a wrench into things because as at the number 2 pick, I was excited to take Abdul Carter. I think that's a perfect fit for Cleveland. If I knew that was in your head, I definitely would have traded up. But now if I'm the Browns, look, you're tied up with Deshaun Watson. I think the pick's in.
You got a phone call, Caleb.
Oh, there's a trade. There's a trade.
Making
There's
an
a
offer.
trade. First trade.
Hello?
You
All
pick
right,
up-
Caleb. Hold on. Let me look up the name first. Make this official.
The name for who?
All right. This is John Spytek calling over from Vegas.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh,
Like you said, you're tied up with Deshaun. You're kind of fucked, pal. Okay. You got like 290 plus guaranteed. You got to pay out of pocket. You're looking like Myles Garrett's possibly out the door. Denzel Ward's going to be next. You need some assets, pal. I'd say you need that. You know what I need? My quarterback of the future. Sitting there at number 2 because there's no guarantee he's going to fall to number 6. We got Brady. We got Brady's part owner. We got to get ourselves a quarterback. So what are we thinking about moving from 6 to 2? You falling back from 2 to 6. I'll give you my first, give you my second next year. I'll give you my second this year.
Hey, dude's giving all the picks.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. I mean, because I'm looking. I decline. I can't do it.
Wow.
I can't do
Hold
it.
this guy.
Wow.
I
He
can't
wants
do
a
it
quarter.
with the-
He wants his franchise guy.
No, don't want my franchise guy, but here's my thought process for this.
Oh,
I don't want to go past the Patriots because I think this is I think the Patriots are a good spot for Travis Hunter. So that's with the second overall pick, the Cleveland Browns will be taking cornerback, wide receiver.
Oh.
Take it.
Travis Hunter.
All right. Love it. Love it. We got to announce when the picks and the chime really adds.
Yeah,
to
that's
order
on me.
as well.
That's on me. That's on me. But Klotz, I like the trade offer, but I couldn't go past the Patriots there. Can't do it.
That's fair. This pick is extremely easy for me. The pick is in, boys. Any trade offers? Any trade offers? Going once? Going twice? All right, I'll sound the bell. With third pick in the NFL draft, the New York Giants select the best quarterback in this draft class, Cam Ward, quarterback, University of Miami.
Wow.
League Neighbors gets his guy. Tough situation for him to enter, but best quarterback on the board.
Wow. I think this is a simple pick. Hey, this is an easy pick for me at 4. It was going to be, honestly, I think the Patriots have a chance to get Travis Hunter. Caleb, if I knew you were doing Travis Hunter at 2, I probably maybe would have traded up. Try and tricked you that I wasn't going to trade Travis Hunter. But because that's such a good pick. That's an unbelievable pick. But I'm going to do this, boys. The pick is in for the New England Patriots. Oh my gosh, how many times this guy? Yeah, decline. I'm declining
He's
all
the
calls.
most annoying GM in the league.
I'm declining all the calls. I'm not. I have my pick. Hey, I'm looking at Robert Kraft. Robert, we got our guy. We got our guy, Robert. Give me the chime. Run it in. I'm running in my pick.
Oh, got you, Boone.
Hey, with the 4th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select the man who is going to protect their quarterback, Will Campbell, one of the best tackle, the best offensive lineman in the class, going to be one of the best in the NFL at one point. Drake May has his left tackle for his future, Will Campbell.
I like Boone.
Good pick.
That's the pick the Patriots should make 10 times out of 10. Even if Travis Hunter's
I don't know. Travis Hunter's a great
Here's the thing, though, Boone. What's gonna bring you more Super Bowls? Drake May or Travis Hunter? Drake May. You got to protect Drake May.
That's fair.
That's Taylor Wan 2.0 sitting over there in Will Campbell, Boone.
Yeah, no, he's good. He is very good. So yeah, that's my pick here. Who's up on the clock? The Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock.
Any trades? Phone's not buzzing. We good?
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead. Make your pick if you want it.
I'll trade.
All right. Let's hear it.
The New York Jets are calling. I want to swap 5 and 7 with you for next year's second. The next year's second. I don't know. Who cares? But I'm just calling for a trade here.
Dude, you know what? You know, Boone, you have a deal. You have a deal.
I don't think I can do it. It's not available on here.
You forced the trade, bottom right. Yeah,
but it's not giving me. It's not giving me the option. Oh, that is right there.
There's 2 players I really like here for the Jags. I think both are going to be. I think one is going to be available at 7. I think I have an idea who you're taking here. You got yourself a deal.
I'll do this. 5 for 7.
Every time just do that.
Forced trade. Guy, click it.
Yep. All right.
Booner's on the clock. I'm on the clock, and I have my pick. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Throw it in. Hey, I'm running the pick in. I'm running it in. Hit the chime. With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.
I like this, Boone.
The New York Jets select Shedeur Sanders.
I like it, Boone.
Of the future with Aaron Glenn.
I like it, Boone.
I had to move up over the Raiders because I think the Raiders want a quarterback. And at that point, that's where I think this thing starts to get interesting a little bit, boys, is I do think like the Giants, I think there's a couple teams who really want quarterback, like the Jets moving on from Aaron Rodgers, whether they go a vet or not. I do think that if the Jets do want their quarterback of the future, I think Shedeur, if he somehow gets close to them, they're like, hey, the Raiders need a quarterback. We need to get into the 5th spot. Like, we need to talk to the Jags like today, and we need to get it in there just in case we need to get a quarterback and jump the Raiders. I was thinking about that today. I was looking at it. I did a couple mock drafts full first, and I was like, man, if Shedeur doesn't go to New York Giants, him and the Jets would be unbelievable with AG.
There's a lot of avenues I could go down with this 6th pick, boys.
Caleb?
Give me a little scroll, Boone.
Good doing work. All right, sorry.
Give me a little scroll just because I'm doing this for my own sake.
Just tell me when.
All right, I got it.
All right.
I got it. Look, the Raiders need a lot, okay? I'm not comfortable with taking Jackson Dart here. But they got Christian Wilkins. They got Max Crosby. This could be a little rich for some people, but Boone, I know you're going to like this pick. Let me go ahead and hit the chime.
I feel like this should be very obvious.
Las Vegas Raiders have not had a true cornerback since Nnamdi Asomugha. Give me Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan here.
Wow.
Las Vegas Raiders. Give me Will Johnson. Hear me out, boys. Hear me out.
I think it's a great pick.
Travis Hunter is a better overall football player. Will Johnson is a better corner than Travis Hunter.
100%.
So
no one's saying it.
Johnson.
People are putting Travis as the number 1 corner in this class automatically. I think Will is above. If you're talking, I think you're right though. All around, I think Travis, but Will. Caleb, I'm going to say this with the Jags pick. You better not mess this pick up.
I think it's pretty easy here. Yeah, it's
and you'd get lucky in the draft if this player falls to 7. Lucky.
Yeah. It was Will Johnson or this guy for me. That's why I traded back. So pick is in. With the 7th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Mason Graham, defensive lineman, Michigan.
Great play.
Pretty easy pick there. And now I have 8 here, Panthers. This is interesting. This is a pick I really don't know what they're going to do. I think there's honestly a chance they could fall in love with one of these receivers to pair him with Leggett, but I'm not going to go that direction this round. I want to see the combine and see how these players run and do all these drills. There's a couple players here, man.
I mean, this guy.
I'm picking this call up. I'm picking it up.
This guy.
Hello?
Can you just accept it so he stops making calls?
It's John Lynch. I want to have a conversation.
Let's talk.
Listen, you're rebuilding. We have history. We go back. I brought in Christian McCaffrey from Carolina. No, didn't turn well 2 out on your end. Got
wait, I thought I was
you to be able to make some moves.
Aren't I the 49ers?
No, I'm the.
No, yeah, you are.
I misjudged this. My bad.
This guy's all he's thinking about is trades.
This
guy's obsessed with trades.
I had such a good trade here. I miscalculated.
This man is obsessed with trades, Caleb.
I want to make a move.
He tried to trade your own pick.
Well, boys. So I'm obviously going to stick here. I'm going to stick at 8 for the Panthers.
Oh, that's funny.
Like I said, could be receiver. Could be another Michigan man. But the pick is in.
Oh, here we go.
Can I get the chime?
Oh yeah, that's on me. That's
no,
on
you're
me.
good. You're good. You're good.
He was shook.
The 8th overall pick.
I'm so mad. Can I tell you the trade that I wanted to do here afterwards?
Yeah. With the 8th overall pick, the Carolina Panthers select Walter Nolan, defensive lineman.
Wow.
This early.
And there's another guy. Hey, guys, and there's another guy. You think that's early? There's another defensive lineman I fell in love with that I'm going to take pretty soon here, and your jaws are going to drop.
Gosh.
So if you thought that was crazy, there's another one.
Look,
I think this is a position
I had
to need.
him on my board late.
Do you guys want to know what I was going to do with the Niners? Oh, go ahead, Caleb. I want you to finish your Walter Nolan because you obviously are high on Walter Nolan.
Yeah, I just think this is a position of need for Carolina to pair him with guys like Derek Brown on that defensive line. I mean, I think a lot of GMs are going to take after the Lions, build from the trenches. You already have a quarterback that they like in Bryce Young, some pieces on that offense. You build that defensive line with the guy like Walter Nolan. I like where they're going.
Some would say a reach, but hey,
could be a reach.
It was
him or I don't want to say the other name, but I want to hear your trade.
I was going to call up from San Fran, jump Chicago, and get Gentry.
Yeah. You can't say these picks because there's some of these guys teams are still going here, Klotz.
That's fair, but I don't think Caleb's going to do that.
You're calling other GMs before the first round's over, saying, "Hey, this is my board."
That's fair. All right, but I'm on.
You know what? I'm just going to call out. You really need to lock in as a GM right now.
I just want to make moves, Boone. If you can't,
that's all. You have to be like. But hear me out. Right now, you're being like the arm slinger as a quarterback. You're just throwing deep every time. Some check downs, some slants, some short routes, some handoffs. I need you to be a more versatile GM here.
What do you worry about your general manager?
I'm just letting you know. Hey, I'm letting you know. I need you to be a versatile GM here.
Over here.
More versatile. Come on.
Here. You're picking first.
All right, and Jeff's right. If the 49ers drafted Ashton Gentry, that would make zero sense.
Klotz, it was in my head. Doing this, Gentry to the Niners was in my head.
Makes no sense.
There's a perfect team for him.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Whoever has Dallas.
Right, this pick, again, I'm running up the board naked for this one. This one's easy. I'm just going to put in the chime. We talked about Cam Jordan leaving earlier. Well, give me Mike Green, the defensive end out of Marshall, going to the Saints. I like him there. I think this is going to be a guy who rises. Give me Mike Green, top 10 pick.
All right. Don't hate that.
It's early. I had him go a little later.
Don't hate that.
I like it, though.
All right. I'm staying here. I'm staying put. I think Ben Johnson, boys, first year as the Bears, they have built, we've talked about it with Jeff, they have built the roster up. There's one piece on this team that needs to get better. What has Ben learned in Detroit? You build from the trenches. It starts with the trenches, especially with the quarterback that was just a rookie. Klotzy, give me the chime.
Gotcha, Boone.
With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears will select Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. I believe he is the second best offensive lineman in this draft class. The Bears, if they end up with him, steal for them. Potential left tackle or they just need to get any offensive lineman wherever they want to place these guys, and however they fall, you let them fall. But you just need to get the best next available offensive lineman at 10 if you are the Chicago Bears. You have to. No choice. No receivers. Don't be cute. Don't be this. You give Caleb Williams an offensive line. I think Ben knows that. I really do. All right. Pick 11, boys.
Boone, that is a fantastic pick. I love that pick. That's where I was going to go at 11. But I had another guy in mind. I'm ready to go. Pick is in. With the 11th pick Wait. Oh, I just saw another name there.
Another name
I'm
there.
sold. I'm sold. With the 11th pick in the NFL draft, the 49ers select Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State.
I don't hate that.
I think with Armstead being 37 years old, they're going to want to build from the trenches again. They kind of lost their identity last year. Go rebuild that offensive line, address the interior defensive line later in the draft or in free agency. I like offensive line here for San Fran.
All right, Klotz, you're on the clock with the Dallas Cowboys at pick 12. Instantly. Wow. Okay, here we go.
Ashton Gentry, running back, Boise State. Easy
honestly, I think if they get Ashton Gentry, that team's going to be. I think the Cowboys might be a little
3
back.
wins better.
Yeah, because I think Gentry's going to be insane, and all they literally offensively need is just a running back, and that offense is right back on track. And a healthy Dak, obviously.
Ooh, did Gentry come to your mind at all at 10?
Who do I have at 10?
Bears.
No, I know. I mean, what's the point of having a running back if you don't have an offensive line? You know what I mean?
Good point.
I think you can look at like in my thought process. You get one of the best tackles in the whole class, and then second round you can get one of these other running backs somehow, some way, Travion Henderson or something. You can figure it out, but I think you have to go offensive line. You have to build that offensive line, man. You have to. I already have the pick for 13 with the Miami Dolphins. I think this is going to be kind of a different pick, but I think that they should do it. And I think there actually are some people who would agree with me. But with the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins will select Malachi Starks, safety, out of Georgia.
I hate that.
The Dolphins do that defense. Like offensively, they have weapons. I know maybe you could say like offensive line, this, that. Defense and secondary, man. They've needed help for a while. And I love Malachi Starks. If you watch him, he is an absolute dog. He is all over the field, too. All over the field. He's probably one of the best defensive players in this class, to be honest. So Malachi Starks to the Dolphins, boys.
Who has pick 16?
I do.
That would be Boone,
That's
I
me.
believe.
Boone, any interest in trading up here to 14?
Let me see. Who do I have? Who's on the board right now? I got to see my big board right now.
Oh, Boone, you better hurry up because my phone's ringing.
I mean, this is unbelievable that Klotz can keep. Klotz, have you made a trade yet?
No.
Klotz is calling you, so this counts.
What's up? What's up, GM Klotz?
Hey, how you doing? This is Les Snead coming from me from LA. How we doing? How we doing, Indy?
I'm doing pretty good. Kind of a crap. Yeah. What are we feeling here?
I'll give you. We're sitting right now. We're sitting pretty. You know, we got Stafford right now. We're sitting at 26. I know you might have heard the rumors. We're trying to replace him, so I think we're gonna do it with this pick. What you thinking?
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, if Klotz just did it again,
I play.
Wait.
You know, I'm a gambling man. I play a little bit of poker. That's a poker face right there. You're not taking QB here, Mr. Snead. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. Decline.
Isn't 26 Caleb's pick?
Oh my God! I keep fucking doing it.
This is what I'm talking about.
I got the Rams too, dude.
You gotta stop.
I got the Rams too.
You have to lock in.
I gotta lock in,
dude. You have to do you not have your lists written down? You have to be a better GM.
I mean, it's unreal.
I'm sitting here looking at mine, and I'm like, I have 25. Caleb's after me. There's no way Klotz is calling for it. There's no way this man's calling.
I'm off by one pick.
Klotz,
I'm by one pick. I'm off. It's on me.
Auto decline. Boone, any interest?
Can I ask you? This is right now. We're talking in the war room. Who are you looking to pick at? Who are you looking to pick at my spot? I need to know.
It's not a position of need for you whatsoever.
What position are you talking about?
It's a tight end.
Ugh.
I'm looking to trade back a little bit.
I'm staying home.
I don't know if that's allowed.
I'm staying home. They do that in the real life. They say, what position? They say, give me a position. And they're like, well, I'm looking for this. Like, I'm not going to tell you who, or I'm not going to tell you a certain position, but we're telling you what side of the ball, this, that. I just needed to hear that. I'm staying. You can stay and pick there.
Okay, good. That's fine. Pick is in. No chime?
Klotz.
You know how it goes. After this, I'm choked.
With the 14th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Colts select Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. I think you just got to get.
He goes over Tyler Warren.
Yes, I think Colson Loveland has all the intangibles to be a really good tight end in this league, and you want to get as many weapons.
Wow.
You want to get as many weapons for Anthony Richardson as you can. I do think this can be an edge rusher, but I think Colson Loveland's one of those tight ends where he's going to be drafted in that top 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, this could change closer to the draft, but I really like this pick for the Colts.
Gross. All right.
You like it.
I do not. Well, I respect the pick. You're letting better players fall to me.
Yeah.
And I'm deciding between two here. But I feel like at this point, this is a pretty good chance to take him. So with the 15th pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons will be selecting Mykel Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia. Bring the Bulldog home. Bring him to Atlanta.
Where is he?
Go to Edge, Boone.
Oh, there he is. Bang.
There it is.
I mean, this is kind of crazy that your guy's on the board still. Alim McNeill. There's no way he'll drop out of the top 10.
Never know.
There's no way. He's too good. He's a top 10 pick. I already have my pick. It fell to me. And Caleb, you're going to see why I ended up. Honestly, if I'm just being completely honest, I wanted Walter Nolan at this pick. I had it written down. I said, like what's the Draft Day movie? This guy or nothing. The note that he writes down. I wrote down Walter Nolan or nothing. And he ends up going top 10. So you could play the music for me. With the 16th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals solidify their defensive line and select Kenneth Grant out of the University.
Good pick there. Good value there. Good value.
Someone's got. Hey, I'm just saying this so on socials we don't get killed. Someone's got to pick McMillan. We next person we have to get this guy off the board.
He's been dropping. I was watching Joe Klatz and he fell around here.
We got to get him off the board. The Saints could have got him with Chris Olave.
Well, this is where it's tough here.
This is tough
because we don't know.
Him with the Cardinals, him and Marv.
Yeah, but they don't really need a wide receiver. They need offensive line and D line.
Oh, they need a wide.
They need trenches. They need trenches there. They need to build their trenches. I think there's teams that need to build trenches out.
There is. Every team could. Besides the Eagles, Lions, and Falcons.
I mean, if I had some different teams, I would have picked him so long ago. I would have picked him top 8.
Yeah, because we don't know what's going to happen with T. Higgins. Look, I'm going to go in a different direction here. The pick is in.
This is crazy. This guy's job.
I'm going to be so mad. I already know what he's going to say.
With the 17th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select James Pierce, edge rusher, Tennessee. People are saying this guy might fall out of the first round, character issues or whatever. He was productive in college and he's a beast. So I mean, him across from Trey Hendrickson, I like it.
Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you making the educated pick there on the defense side of the football. It helps me breathe a little bit. Not gonna lie. All right, go a lot of areas here. Could go a lot of areas here, but. One easy answer here. Mike Brown, cheap, man. They're not bringing back T. Higgins. Go ahead, Boone. Take him off the board. Teteroa McMillan.
I was going to take him with the Bucs if you didn't.
Jamar Chase. Or I'm sorry, Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Jack Smith, and Chippa. Think about the Bengals.
That's crazy that he falls. I'll guarantee you almost.
They're fine. Defense.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you he doesn't fall this far. I almost don't want to post this on socials for us to get killed.
Who had Saints and what did they take? So that's kind of where I thought he was going to go.
They're losing Cam Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, dude.
They Carolina maybe.
The Raiders at 6. They don't have a wide receiver. That would have been the spot.
Will Johnson's such a good pick there.
Yeah, but I mean,
Miami,
there's zero chance that the Raiders would pass on him. I feel like Miami. I don't know Miami though. Like they need defense. They still have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Whether you think they're like in or out or not,
Colts could have used him. That's for damn sure. You gave him Colson Loveland.
Yeah, Colts 100%.
Guys,
Cowboys could have used him. I could have took him there. Niners could have used him.
That's a tough. All right, boys, put the chime in. I have the next pick with the Bucs. This is easy to me. With the 19th pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will replace Chris Godwin with wide receiver Luther Burden out of Missouri. I watched a lot of Luther Burden highlights the last 48 hours. This man, playmaker. That's all I have to say. He's going to be extremely good. Yeah, dude. I mean, he's good. Dude, I saw him catch a couple passes behind the line of scrimmage and just make what's the saying? Make salad out of lettuce or something.
What?
Sure, man.
I don't know.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit?
Yeah, that's it. Make deviled eggs out of hard-boiled eggs.
All right. I'm proud of you, Boone.
That was it. All right. Pick 20. Caleb, you were on the clock. The Denver Broncos.
Well, Boone, my mind turned off for a second. I should have traded up here. Luther Burden was meant to be a Bronco. But I'll go a little different direction here. The pick is in.
Oh, I wanted to be. I was just about to ring the phone. With the 20th overall pick is still in. Is it still in? I
like this pick for Denver. I'm gonna stick it. With the 20th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Denver Broncos select Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
Great pick.
I'm a tight end guy.
That's a great pick.
I'm a tight end guy.
Waste that pick.
Tyler Warren.
This guy hates tight ends. This guy Klotz, he hates tight ends.
All right, hey, easy.
Oh yeah, this is great for you, Klotzy.
Yeah, come on now. Hey, you're at the wrong spot, Boone. Go ahead, scroll up a little bit. Scroll. No. Up. Go ahead. All positions. Drop down. Yep. Oh, you went. You gotta
tell me. You gotta tell me. I don't know what you're doing.
Go to the quarterback spot.
Oh, this
Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down. Where is he at? Oh, there he is. 122. The 21st overall pick in the NFL draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Jackson Dart, quarterback.
I hate that pick.
I love that pick.
Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. If the Steelers draft a quarterback, I'm their fan. I'm a fan base. I'm pitchforks. I'm not doing that.
I like that pick, Klotz. That's who I had down.
Not with the Mecca Ibuka on the board when you need a wide receiver. Not doing
second
that.
Round.
No.
They got Roman Wilson too, Boone, coming off injury.
Nah, I would never do that.
No. All right. Go ahead, Boone. You're on the clock.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like this is pretty obvious here. Hit the button. With the 2022nd pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers will select Emeka Ibuka out of The Ohio State University. Add another weapon with Justin Herbert. I was going to go running back. When I was going through the draft, I was looking and I was like, there's going to be no wide receivers, first-round wide receivers left. So I was actually going to go Amarion Hampton. But Emeka Ibuka fell, taking him. Green Bay Packers are now on the clock.
All right. Pretty easy pick, I think, here with the 23rd overall pick. The Green Bay Packers select, and you don't have to move the mouse far, Boone. Jahdae Barron from Texas, cornerback.
Oh,
good pick.
I lose Jair.
That's a great pick if they lose Jair, actually. Love that.
All right, fellas. I'm the Vikings here sitting on the clock. I'm accepting some calls here. If not, I'm ready to ship it to another one of my teams. So if you want this pick, let me know.
I want it.
Okay. I want it. Who wants to move up here?
The Los Angeles Rams at 26, moving up 2 spots. I'll give you a 3rd-round pick this year.
Well, that's very interesting. The team behind you, Baltimore, they've also been calling. They want to move up. So give me what's your plan here? What do you really think is going to happen?
Well, I can't tell you this. It screwed me over earlier in the draft, telling the other GM what I wanted to do.
Listen, I'm sorry here, but Baltimore, they're really persistent on this. They're coming off another loss in the playoffs. Boone, go ahead. We're going to ship the 24th pick to my other team, the Ravens, at the 27th pick. Okay, that's what we're going to do here. We see 2 teams that could be in need of the position that we want to get here, and there's a what
pick? What pick?
I love here. 24 for 27. Vikings and Bengals.
Just so you know, you're out of picks if you do this.
Out of trades or out of
trades?
Both
out
my
of
teams.
Trades. Yeah, but that's still a trade. 1 trade per. You can't just
I'm out of picks trades. Or I'm out of trades?
Out of trades.
Yeah. Go ahead, force it. All right. With the 24th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. Zay Flowers, Matthew Golden, Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry. Get Lamar some more weapons. That's our thinking there. So don't trade up far, but we get a wide receiver 1 in Baltimore.
All right. I'm on the board here.
Clock.
I want to look at some things here real quick.
There's a lot of good names on here still. I can go a couple different.
I'm looking here, boys. I'm trying to think with this team here. I'm thinking, boys.
See another Toledo Rocket.
We could trade it if you want, Boone. I mean, I can move up a spot.
No. Can I look at this real quick?
Yeah, you can start taking looks, Boone.
I just want to see something. All right, I've got my pick.
All right.
This might be. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
No?
I'm trying to think. Who are their tackles on their team?
Texans,
I was going to go wide receiver
Laramie
here.
Tunsil.
It was wide receiver or nothing here for me. It was wide receiver or nothing here for me. There's someone I'm missing here that I want to draft. I can't find him here. Did we already draft him?
Who?
There's a guard that I wanted.
No, we haven't taken any guards.
I gotta look at my notes here.
I think you already went past him, Boone.
I'm looking at my notes, people. Give me a minute. Are we sure?
Yeah, no guards yet.
Is Tyler Booker off the board?
No.
Yeah, no.
Where's he at?
I think he's in tackles. I think he might be in tackles.
Why can't I find Tyler Booker?
Check cart. Just look up his name.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Okay, that's on me. That was a panic move. Give me Tyler Booker. Sorry about that.
All right.
That was a big panic move for me. I was sitting there. I didn't see him.
Off kind of out of nowhere, but I don't hate it. Caleb, you're up now.
They need interior offensive linemen.
Yeah, they do.
That was all I was thinking. And I had Tyler Booker written. I had all the receivers written down for my notes for them. And the last guy I had was Tyler Booker. Last case scenario. It happened last case scenario. If I was them, I would just trade out of the first round, to be honest, and snag him. But that's all good.
All right.
If he dropped.
I can go 2 different directions here. 3. Okay. Running out of time here. I'll hurry this up. Pick is in.
Oh, here we go.
With the 26th overall pick, the Los Angeles Rams select Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
Oh, I like that pick, Caleb. I'm not going to lie. I like that pick a lot. All right. This could be interesting here. I could go a lot of ways with this. But I feel like offensively, go to guards for me, Boone. Scroll up.
There's really
Tackles.
not many. I see one guy right now.
Just keep scrolling down. What the? Where is he at? Oh, okay, there he is. With the 27th overall pick in the NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard / tackle, Ohio State. Protect J.J. McCarthy. Improve that run game. Shore up the front line.
It's a great
Boone,
pick.
you're on the clock with the Lions pick here.
Yeah, pick is in. Send it. Let me hear it. Does anyone want to trade?
I'm out.
I'm out too. Caleb's the only one that's in.
No, I don't. I do. You want to we could do one.
I just want to hear it out. I want to see what player maybe you would. I almost might take a tackle with the Lions.
Well, I guess I am I
I
the
almost
Cleveland
might
Browns?
go
Can I
offense.
trade you
I
Myles
almost
Garrett
might
right
take
here?
a tackle with the Detroit
Well, you know what,
Lions.
Boone? That's why. I mean, we could talk this out real quick. I have the Commanders at 29, and we're also interested in a certain offensive tackle on the board right now. I've heard rumors that the Lions are into a tackle. Is there a trade we can make right now, GM Boone?
No, give me Jack Sawyer. Give me the edge. I'll make another trade with you with my other team if you want, with the Commanders. I have the Chiefs. I don't know if you want to trade back and still get your guy,
pick.
but
No,
I have an easy pick with the Chiefs that I want. I don't think we're looking at the same position group. If you want to, obviously the Bills aren't looking at anything that we're looking at. If you want to make it, you have one trade left, and this is, I think, might be one of your last teams, or your second. Can we make a trade?
I'm good.
Let's make a trade.
But the Commanders have a very much team. They have a team need that they need to fill a little bit.
Yeah, but I have someone on the board right here. I have someone on the board that Klotz might take. I need to move above the Bills.
Should I hit it, Caleb?
I need to move above the Bills. We're a GM right now. We're
Are
in
you
GM
the
mode
Chiefs?
right now. I'm the Chiefs. I'm 2 back. I just need to get above to the Bills.
And I mean, after all,
I just need to get above the Bills.
And I'll explain why really fast when we're done. If
he takes my guy, we'll never do work again in the future in the NFL. Our GM we have a long off season of being a GM together.
With the 29th pick in the NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select Armand Membu, offensive tackle.
Whoa!
Got to protect the cornerstone of the franchise.
Don't hate it.
The Eagles are going to end up with the Eagles are going to end up with one of the better edge rushers of this class, and that's going to be that could be a disaster.
Well, I'm the Eagles, and then I have an eye on a guy right now.
Yeah, I can see him on the board right now, an edge rusher. That it's like if he fell to the Eagles, the league might be in trouble.
He's a boomer bust guy. We don't really know, but at 32,
I already know who we're talking about. I'm not sweating it here whatsoever. I'm looking.
But boomer bust on the Eagles. That's a boom, especially with that tackle or with that edge rusher. That's a big boom. All right, Klotzy. We got 2 minutes left of the show.
I understand. I'm thinking about just getting my guy here. Honestly.
All right, who's your guy?
Thinking about it, Boone. I'm still looking at options here. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we're out of time, boys.
All right.
What do you got?
Go to wide receivers.
Oh, wow. I love it, dude.
With the 30th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Buffalo Bills select Xavier Restrepo, this year's Ricky Pearsall, Lad McConkey, wide receiver, Miami.
What are we doing? All right, hit the thing. I tried to trade up and jump Caleb and trick him because I wanted to take a tackle too, and he never even took my guy. Give me Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State University, heading to the Kansas City Chiefs and keeping that offensive line what it is with Patrick Mahomes. That's a steal. What are we doing here? Trade. I mean, I'm not posting this on social. What are we? We're gonna look like we don't know ball.
What's going on?
Xavier Restrepo in the first round.
I'll wrap this up with the 32nd overall pick. The Philadelphia Eagles select Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, probably the biggest boomer bust prospect in that can go in the first round, but the Eagles can afford to take that risk right now.
Yeah, don't hate it. Don't hate it. I actually love that pick for the Eagles.
Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton in that first round.
Yeah, we're going to get absolutely torched for this.
I don't know, because you kind of look at what happened there and you talk about like Tat and stuff falling. Those are things that could happen.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, either way, though, like there are guys that we have left on the board who probably aren't going to fall out of the first round. So it's be tough. All right, that was a fun draft. That was still fun either way. Had a good time. We'll post it. Maybe we'll post that to our socials. We'll
I'm scared.
Yeah. Every other comments will just be these guys don't know ball. It might take a hit on our credibility. So we'll figure it out. What's the score of the MSU game, by the way? Does anyone know? Did they win?
I
just see people
it says MSU W.
Yeah, they're up 11. I just kept seeing people put in there. There's still
Pistons
another
up
game, though,
11
boys.
too.
Don't worry. Pistons are up.
Up 11.
Nice. All right.
Up
That'll do it
14.
for the show, Caleb. Appreciate you coming on Friday here.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you guys tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., correct, Caleb? 10 to 11.
Yes, sir.
Saturday mornings with Crutch Time with Caleb and Gentry. And tomorrow they actually have Chris Castellani joining the show to talk some Tigers, talk to Tigers spring training and everything. So make sure you guys tune into that. Check them out in the morning. And we will be back here. Jeff should be back too Monday night, 8 p.m. I don't know if Jeff's doing a morning show, but we for sure will be back tomorrow or Monday at 8 p.m. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. Peace.
Yes,
Love
sir.
you guys.
Peace.